Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach. It's going to be the round 25 preview. Round 25, dude. We're almost done with the season, which is upsetting, but also exciting. Approaching finals, but yeah, we got a bit to talk about. First off, let's have a quick look at the team and talk about any changes with team lists. I don't think there was anything too crazy that came out of team lists. I mean, there was a few players out, but I mean, Cleary obviously, but then Cody Walker out. Connor Watson, just, dude, what a pain, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy because, like, people that picked him up, I was very worried about Connor Watson and I was so close to doing it, but that's good. Anyone else? No one too big out, I don't think. Not from my team anyway. But yeah, Jane Brayley obviously starting at half, dummy half still. He should be in for big minutes again. Like, I'm just praying, please, Brayley. I guess the thing, I will have like a free loop this week because my front row and my dummy half, honestly, I'm happy to drop any of them. Yeah, I'm happy to drop any of them. I don't know. If Brayley's going to play like the full 80 minutes, I'd probably rather drop. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Either of them works, like any of the front rowers and my dummy half. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I hope they all score like 50 points. Like, then if I drop somebody, they're not going to stink it up, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, Robson is on the bye. The front row, so I mean, I talked about this in the last video. The top end of this team is looking diabolical this week. I did see Payne Haas. They were actually, there was a bit of chat that he could have been named this week, which I was not expecting at all. If he was named this week, bro, I would have been loving life. But I guess it's good. Like, God, if Payne Haas is somehow back next week for me, I'd be very happy. I'd be very happy. Even if he is, like, I'm definitely not expecting, like, 70, 80 average from Payne Haas. Maybe they reduce his minutes with this injury, but I'd still be very happy to play him for the last couple of weeks. But we'll see. So hopefully the Supercoach gods can look favorably upon me. I feel like I've suffered my fair share of bad luck this season, so a little bit of good fortune would go a long way. But at the moment, Fainu, Curran, I mean, I'm not going to lie, Henry is tempting this week because the Panthers bench from memory, they've got Toleau, who's a dummy half, then they've got, I think it's Smith and Henry, and then Jack Cole as well. Like, they've got two utility slash like outside, like halves on the bench, and then two forwards. So I'm not going to lie, I'm actually pretty tempted by Liam Henry this week. I know he's been a bit underwhelming. I actually thought he might be a little better for the last couple of games with a few injuries, but hasn't quite got the minutes. So I don't know. Hopefully Cleary is just sort of rested. I'm really hoping he's just sort of rested Henry a little bit in the last couple of weeks and then maybe relies on him a little bit more in the last few games when they rest a couple of players. That would be nice as well, but we'll see. I am tempted to maybe play Henry. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess Curran was named. I don't know. I mean, Max King is on the extended bench, so it's a wait and see. Honestly, I'd be happy if Curran is out, then I'm happy to play Henry. I think Fainu, I don't love Fainu this week, I gotta be honest, because he will be, oh Jesus Christ, dude. He's like, it's annoying because Galvin and Caesar last week had switched sides. Again, Galvin was playing all around the field, but primarily it was Caesar and Fainu on that side of the field last week. I'm guessing they're going to do the same thing. I don't really know why they switched that, but yeah, not great for Fainu. And then on top of that, this week he's going to be up against that Manly right edge of Cherry Evans, Olaquatu, Garrick, and Saab. So, I'm not I'm definitely not very confident of Fainu. Honestly, but that's the problem, right? If I play Henry over Fainu, then Curran gets rested, I'm already down in front rower. But I guess at that point, if I'm going to take a free loop anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't know. It's one of those ones. It's probably not a big deal either way, but I'm not expecting big things from Fainu this week against that Manly right edge. On the back row department, I mean, I do have Olikwatu. He's been a bit underwhelming, but I feel like this week, there could be some points on offer. I just hope that he gets in on the points, bags himself a double to really elevate the scoring. But the rest of them, I mean, Fafita, Nikora, Crichton, Eli Katoa, both Fermor is back in action, which is, I mean, it's good. It is good because he is another very, very solid number for the run home if there is mass injury / restings in the forward pack. So I don't think I'm going to be playing him. Obviously we're playing Olikwatu, Bryn Nikora against the Dragons. I mean, I feel like you got to play Nikora. He's been in great form. Dave Fafita, Titans are versing the Roosters, so you probably don't love a Fermor play, but you're obviously going to play Fafita. Crichton against the Titans, absolutely. Katoa against the Dolphins. So yeah, Fermor I think is a pretty safe sit. Dylan Brown. So, Cleary out. Actually, before we get into that, we'll go through. So Galvin, obviously, usual. Dane Laurie is on the wing again, which I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping. I was pretty confident it wouldn't happen because I do have Jack Cole and they have Brad Schneider. I wasn't expecting them to pick Brad Schneider to partner Luai in the halves this week. I thought they'd go with the young guy in Cole, but yeah, they've got a couple of guys in front. So Laurie is on the wing. The question now is that do you play Laurie? Like, again, it's the question about, like, he's a super pod and on the wing for Penrith, and he should be on the right wing again, I would expect. The problem is no Cleary, though. Like, is he... I still like it because, I mean, Edwards is back in the team. He's definitely... Edwards has improved his, like, ball-playing fullback game. Like, he's better at those cutout balls to the wing. So I still think there's points on offer for Laurie. I still like him on the wing to an extent. Taking on the Raiders, it's a pretty good matchup. 3 p.m. game. I don't know. We'll have to have a look at Sid starts, but I don't know. I feel like you play him, right? Because he's a super pod. The worst case scenario, yeah, he gets like 40 points again in like base. Like, he's always going to take a lot of carries. He's a bit of a tackle buster, so he's never really going to be an absolute stinker unless he gets fucking knocked out again, which... the way it's gone with him, I'm very nervous, but I think you play him for the upside. Like, you brought him in. I think you gotta stand firm potentially, but we'll look at who we're dropping for him, I guess. Moving into the back line, so yeah, Dom Young still, obviously his hemi was fine. It was just a bit of precautionary, taking him off late last week with ice, just I don't know the word I'm trying to think of, but, not risking him, I guess, is the point. So he's fine. Kiraz, Garrick. Surely Garrick and Olikwatu can go big against that Tigers left-hand defense this week, right? Like, it's juicy. Greggy Marju is named. He looked a little injured in, I don't know, his ribs or something last week, but he is good to go. Who do they take on the Rabbits? So it's a pretty good matchup for Marju this week as well. Kale Iro is back from sickness. Casey McLean, I guess he's another one that, like, God, he's been looking good too. Like, he's been looking really good. The one thing, though, he is doing a lot. Like, he did a lot last week. He scored well. He scored 87 points. Fantastic. But he scored a try. I feel like he had a try assist. Like, he was unbelievable last week. It might come down to, like, do I play Laurie or McLean? or I don't play Marju. I don't know. And then you've got obviously the big guns here, Tommy Trbojevic and James Tedesco. So the team list is pretty good. I mean, the only, I guess, one for me was, Fermor has been named again. Josh Curran is still named, which is, it's good. It's fine. Doesn't really bother me too much. Like, I don't see Curran going out and getting like 60, 70 points with the way things are going. Especially if Max King comes back into that side. Curran could drop out, or he just gets less minutes. We'll see what happens there. We'll have to make a decision. But sit starts. So let's have a quick squiz. As a team as it is now, so obviously Robson not playing, Payne Haas, Henry. Yeah, that's fine. The back row, fine. Obviously, Cleary out. So, Dane Laurie. I feel... you just have to play Galvin, right? He's so fucking good. I don't know. I actually think I double down. Because the big thing here, I haven't talked about yet, Nathan Cleary. So... No, we'll talk about it in a second. I'm very, very tempted to not play Galvin this week. But, fuck, he scored... God damn it, dude. I mean, granted, I got away with... Like, he was on... I don't know. He had 2 try assists in the first half, so he could have gone bigger. Didn't really see too much footy. Against the Bunnies, Manly... Like, I don't think Manly are, like, that good defensively necessarily, but... Is that Lotto land? Like, it's just such a tough matchup. Like, I feel like Manly could really get on top and just dominate this game. It is a game you can see Manly going big, and that means there's going to be, like, for one, more points. Like, there's less base and stuff for players, but then if you're on the team that's getting pumped, then you're just not scoring any points, really. So, I'm very tempted to just not play Galvin. Do you really do it again? Surely this week we can sort of reverse this, right? Well, I don't know. And then the back line, obviously we're playing these 3. Marju against the Bunnies I feel like is very good. Kale Iro, you obviously play Kale Iro, who's back. I mean, the base is just too good. McLean is very tempting. You obviously play your 2 fullbacks, so it's out of McLean, Galvin. McLean, Galvin. I'm happy not to play Fermor. I mean, Fermor's a very solid play, but I'd rather play the upside of a McLean and Galvin. Then, so at the moment we're playing Brown. Actually, yeah, it's actually not too bad. I was looking at it like, if I bring in someone for Cleary, then I have to drop somebody else, but honestly, I'm happy not to play Brown. I mean, the Broncos... I don't know. This is probably a pretty good matchup for Dylan Brown. I can see him scoring well in this game. But... it is at Suncorp. I don't know. I mean, Reece Walsh is out. Cobbo's back. Sailor at fullback. Like, still no Payne Haas. Still... Who else is out? I mean, they still got a... It's still a good side. I don't know. I mean, Brown... Okay. Well, there's more to discuss with Stitch Stars, but let's talk about the big elephant in the room, the halfback. So originally I was very torn on what to do with Cleary. So there's some big movers and shakers here to play out. So it feels like it's so perfect to just make it that extra bit difficult, because if you look, Sammy Walker, I mean the big one, Sam Walker, Cherry Evans, right? I think they're the 2 obvious trade-ins. You then throw in Jerome Luai, who he's now at 650. I mean, the price obviously doesn't matter. You're trading out a 900k guy for one of these dudes. The price does not matter. But Luai, without Cleary, when he was playing 7, he was killing it. Now, I did see like stats on Twitter that him with Schneider was not very good. Like his scores were very poor. But he did score his 130 with Schneider in the side. And like, I feel like those earlier games, that was before Origin, And obviously he grew a leg from Origin. He played more at 7. Like the receipts, like just getting his hands on the footy just skyrocketed. I do like Luai, but honestly, I don't think he's the go for me. I don't think I'm gonna do it. He is the super pod for sure, but just the resting possibility. Like I'm torn on that too. Like Panthers, like they definitely want to keep second spot to get a home final, right? But then Cleary's got injured. Ivan Cleary's probably more likely to be like, well, I want to rest my players. I don't want to get more injury. So does Luai get a rest? Do they? But if they're a chance of missing that home final, does he just not rest Luai with Cleary out? I mean, they've got Cole that can come in with Schneider. They do have cover there for Luai, so I still think they rest him in the next 3 weeks. So I'm putting a line through Luai. I think Luai potentially is a great pickup, but yeah, I'm going to go against it just because the problem is that, I mean, this week against Canberra is definitely it's a good matchup, but it's GIO Stadium. I mean, Raiders, I do feel like Canberra do turn up against Penrith for the most part. Obviously a rivalry there with that grand final loss. It's not, I don't think it's going to be the easiest matchup for Penrith, but then the next 2 games, South and Gold Coast, they're fucking beauties, but like, what if Luai gets rested for the Gold Coast game? You're like, fuck, really? So I'm going to forego him. Now, the 2 ones, like I said, Cherry Evans, Walker, they both have incredible matchups this week. They both have unbelievable matchups. Cherry Evans against the Tigers, which I just talked about. He's got Olakwatu outside of him, Garrick and Saab. And then they're taking on the opposition of Caesar, Fainu. I think Alamole has come in on that side, and then I don't know who the other guy is, but I know Dewey and Leilili are out, so I just see so many points down that channel. So Cherry Evans could have a field day, but he doesn't have the goal kicking. It is a big factor because he can get like 2 try assists, he can look really, really good, but he's going to be topped. Like, he is going to be topped in his ceiling. He's not going to get that easy 20, 30 points in goal kick points. So it's a little concerning. It just limits it slightly. And then I do feel like his last 2 games are genuine, like they're very tough games, like the Dogs and the Sharks. And you honestly, looking at those 2 games, you don't really see, I mean, the Dogs aren't going to rest players. I'd be shocked if they rested players around 26. And then the Sharkies around 27. I mean, again, I don't see them resting players. And then you throw in the caveat that maybe Nico Hines is back for that game. They're very tough games. So I don't love the Cherry Evans play apart from this week. Sam Walker, similar. He's got the Gold Coast Titans, a day game in the afternoon. I think it was a Saturday afternoon game. He's got the goal kicking, so he does get those, 20, 30 points, pretty much bonus points. He's got way worse fucking pace. Like, he can score so low while still doing a lot. But, and on top of that, the Roosters do spread it around a lot more. Like, they just have so many more attacking weapons. Like, Walker could do this terrific bit of play, but all the points go to like Tedesco or somebody else outside of him. So Walker doesn't really see many of the points. But it's such a good matchup. And then on top of that, I do feel like their last 2 games after that are much better. They take on Canberra at home and then the grudge match against South, which, I mean, that game, not necessarily an easy game. Like, you feel like South are going to turn up. South are out of the 8. They're going to want to put in a good display. They want to, finish strong. They want to beat their rivals. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a great matchup for Walker, but I still feel like it's better than Cherry Evans. And on top of that, goal kicking. So I think I'm leaning Walker. But then you throw on the added little wrinkle of Nico Hines. So there's chat, and it says here as well, expected to be available around 26 or 27. Can you imagine Hines comes back for around 26 or 27? Now, granted, he does miss out on like the really good matchups. I mean, even the Dragons, not a great matchups, but then come back for the Warriors, be Sean Johnson's last game of the season, last game of his career. Could be a tough one. And then Manly also could be a tough one. Should be many points in that one. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like when Hines comes back, like, if you can bring him in, you bring him in. So that's the thing, right? Do you it's like, this is what makes it fucking tricky, right? Because you have to bring, if you're going Walker or Cherry Evans, you have to bring him in this week. You're not going to wait a week and then bring in Sam Walker or Cherry Evans. Like, you've just missed out on literally the matchup of the season for both of these guys. So if you wait and you're like, oh, maybe Hines is good to go next week, and then Hines isn't good to go next week or even round 27, then you missed out on their great matchups. But if you go early on these guys, or not really early, but if you go this week, then Hines is good to go next week. Do you then trade in Hines? I gotta be honest, I'm leaning towards going Sammy Walker this week. Sam Walker, I honestly think Sam Walker is the play. What was his Oops, I take him out. Well, what were the ownerships actually? Okay. I mean, Cleary at like 50%, but obviously that'll change a lot. I mean, there's people with no trade, so there are going to be people that can't trade him out. Walker, tick under 20%. Cherry Evans is definitely more pottish, but I do feel like, so Cherry Evans, I think, is the most traded in this week, so I feel like his percentage is going to skyrocket and probably get to very similar to Walker. I think that's where I think they'll be pretty level peggings. I still prefer Walker, I think. Yeah, I think I prefer Walker, especially because I'm not, like, I don't have Manu as well. If I had Tedesco, Manu, Young, and Crichton, I'd probably lean more towards Cherry Evans because, like, granted, if they kill it and they all go like 100 points, then, I mean, you're fucking going crazy. But there's probably less chance that they're all going to go well with having that many players. But without having Manu, I feel like Walker, I think I just like the Walker play. And then for me, I'll still have 2 trades to go. Honestly, if Hines is back next week, if it wants to load, where are we? Yeah, if Hines is back next week, I honestly think I'd probably just trade Dylan Brown straight up to Nico Hines. I think that would be the play. So I think I'm leaning that, and obviously Walker, we are going to play Walker over Dylan Brown. Yeah. And then Brown, there's still a case to play Brown, but I don't think you play Brown over, you don't play him over Ero, you don't play him over Tedesco. I mean, I'm still tempted to play fucking Casey McLean and Galvin. Ali Katoa, Crichton, you gotta play those. I mean, this is the problem with sit starts, dude. Like, it gets pretty tough. It gets pretty damn tough. I'm happy not to play Brown, honestly. I even if he goes well, he hasn't shown that he's got that massive ceiling. Like, he can get 70, 80 pretty comfortably if he's playing good footy, gets a couple of try assists. But for him to go, like, what's his highest score this year? I feel like he's very, very rarely gone, like, big. 86. Got 90. Did get a 96 against the Broncos. Fuck you, dude. Of course his high score had to come against the Broncos, and he's taken them on this week. God damn it. And then he got a 90 against the Warriors. I mean, you know, some good scores, some good high scores, but no ton. Which is fine. I mean, if you get 90 or 100, it doesn't really matter. But it does show he doesn't quite have that massive one in him. Fuck, that's so annoying. You got the big score against the Broncos. It's now put me in doubt. Do I bring him in? No, but that's fine. Okay, I think that's I think that's what I'm leaning. And then, yeah, like I said, going forward, like, dummy half is set. I mean, the Cowboys have a bye this week, so, like, I don't know, Payton is a rester. He could rest Reece Robson, but, like, they've just had a bye. Surely Robson plays the last 2 games, right? Like, they still need to consolidate that top 8 spot. I don't know. Can they make top 4? Probably. So you'd want to. The front row, God, if Payne Haas, oh my God, if Payne Haas is back next week, oh, it would solve so many potential issues. It would be so fucking good. Because the other thing is round 26, the Tigers have a bye. So it's not that big a deal for me. But I mean, Galvin we won't have, which is fine because then I don't have to worry about playing him or not. And then Fine, who honestly it's fine as well. If Payne Haas isn't back, we just play Liam Henry. But yeah, if Payne Haas was playing, he'd be so good. The back row, I mean, that's locked and loaded. Grant, they could be in the final round. If there's restings, there could be a good back row to target potentially. But at the moment, like, we are stocked up. The halfbacks are fine. The only thing now is, if Nico Hines does come back next week, I'd be very, very tempted just to go Dylan Brown straight up to Nico Hines. The 5'8", I mean, honestly, it's fine. Like, the 5'8" have been very hit or miss this season. A couple of the guns have fallen away a bit now. It's been a roller coaster for 5'8". So I'm happy to just keep going Galvin and Laurie. If he stays in the team, I'm happy to roll with him. They got a couple of really good matchups coming up, so I'm happy with that. I should, before I forget and get confused, go back to round 25. And then the center wing, I mean, again, the center wing is stocked up. It's looking good. Don't get me wrong, there's a couple of players I would love to bring in, but, like, so Brian Toto, obviously now put a line through him. I'm not interested in Toto. I'm very glad I didn't pick him up. Like last week, he scored poorly. He's every chance to get a rest now in the next couple of weeks. I'd be shocked if he didn't. Zach Lomax, like, actually, before we go to center wing, because I do think it's a very important position, fullbacks also is completely fine. The only thing that would be very tempting is round, I mean, even Ponga has a good matchup this week against the Bunnies, but then round 26, they take on Gold Coast, and then round 27, they play the Dolphins at McDonald's Jones in Sunday afternoon. Like, Ponga would be so juicy to pick up in round 26, but is it worth trading out Tommy or Tedesco? Probably not, but it is one position. Okay, I'm back. It's been I had to go do something in the middle of this video, so hopefully I remember what I was talking about. I'm pretty sure we're up to center wing. We were just talking about sort of replacements or like notable plays to bring in. I know I was just talking about putting a line through Toto. So let's have a look at the center wing like targets at the moment, because it's still a big high ups. I mean, it's the highest upscoring position at the moment, I would say. Let's just have a look at the top. So I got Holmes, I got Kiraz, Lomax. I mean, he's still a good pickup, but like I said, for me, if I wasn't going to pick him up last week, I just don't see the merit in picking him up now, because I'm trading out a good player. Like, it's not like I'm trading out a dud to Lomax. So is he really going to score that much more than Amaju? Maybe. He's got the Sharks this week, pretty tough. Then he's got Para and Canberra. It's a good couple of games for the run home, but again, Maju has great games as well. Jermaine Asako, absolutely not. Jesse Ramian. I got to be honest, I was curious to see Jesse Ramian score because I thought he was going to go fucking huge. It looked like he had so many. I don't know how many he ended up with, but the tackle busting was insane in this game. I'm shocked he only got 64 points in this one, but yeah, definitely not going him. We got Garrick. To'o with a 32. Whew, that's got to sting. That's got to sting. He's 11.6% owned. I mean, like I said, To'o, I am putting a line through To'o now. You know, the games he plays, he could go big, but now no Nathan Cleary, and he's every chance to get rested in one of the last two games, I would imagine. So I don't love To'o now. I mean, Mulatalo back. Good couple of games to finish. Joey Manu is still the guy that I'm so tempted to bring in Joey Manu. So yeah, Joey Manu is the guy that I'm very tempted to still bring in this week. I mean, is it too many Roosters? Like, if I just brought in, I'm bringing in Sammy Walker. Do I really bring in Manu, dude? It's just so tempting because I feel like Manu is gonna kill it for the last few games, right? It's his last season with the Roosters in the NRL. He was killing it before he got injured. Like, this was a different Joey Manu season, like, especially at centre. Like, he's had some good years, but typically he's always like a pretty good centre pickup, but you want him when he occasionally plays like fullback or 5'8", right? But this year, he's putting up keeper status points at centre. He had a couple of low ones thrown in there, a couple of injuries, but I mean, granted, since he's been back from injury, he hasn't been incredible. But Gold Coast, Canberra South, I just don't think I can bring in another Rooster, man. Like, I just don't think I can do it because, like, I don't think the Roosters are going to rest. Like, I've talked about it. They just had a bye, but then maybe they rest next week, a couple of players, but I don't see them mass resting round 27 against the Bunnies. Like, I just don't see it happening. But I would have Young, Tedesco, Manu, Walker, Crichton. I mean, Crichton a bit of an odd one out because he's the only forward I've got, but I'd have so many backline players. I just don't think. I don't know. And then who do I trade out? So the obvious one, Marju, but Marju now comes into like the best matchups. He now comes into, I mean, the Bunnies this week, Gold Coast, Dolphins. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. And I mean, at the end of the day, if Marju scores a try, he's going to score basically what Manu scores, unless Manu goes absolutely ballistic, which he can do, but it's probably less likely in the centres. Like, it is going to be shared around. Like, probably Dom Young is still more likely to go that big 100 than Joey Manu, even if he's going really well. So, and then McLean, you could argue trade out McLean, not bad as well. But he's got two really good matchups at the same time. And then throw in the caveat that when I bring in Manu, I guess I'll just play Manu over Marju. It's not that big a deal, but I think, you know what? I think for my team, maybe I have been, I don't think I've been doing it wrong, but maybe instead of trading out a gun center winger for another gun center winger, maybe I should just trade out a front rower. You know, because at the end of the day, yes, bringing in a guy that can go massive, it's good. But if you're trading out another guy that can also do that, you know, are you really getting yourself that many more points? But a front row, for a while there, it was fine. But now the fact that the front row is really starting to hurt, I don't hate the idea of trading out Finu, but do I need to? And is there any front row I actually want at this point? Let's just have... So, because then if Payne Haas is back next week, then I'm in the same predicament that I've got, like... Oh, dude, I don't know. I think I'm going to hold... Even though I'm so tempted, I think it works out better. Because, one... I think the Manu trade, not necessarily sideways, but it could be. Like, Maju could kill it this week, Manu could kill it, and they score both really good points, right? But there's every chance that happens. But, like I said, if Nico Hines is back next week or the final round, then I would love to get in Nico Hines. Also, the one thing I didn't mention about Brian To'o is that if To'o is... If the perfect scenario is if To'o gets rested next week and then To'o is free to play the Titans game in round 27, then To'o becomes like one of the absolute, maybe not must have, but I mean one of the best upside players for that final round to bring in. So saving a trade there would also be nice if you get someone like a To'o you could bring in for the final round of the season against the Titans. Because again, that final round, there's not that many great matchups. Like, Broncos Storm, that's a grudge match. Should be a big game. Tigers, how did they fucking do this, dude? How did they know Tigers para for the fucking spoon? Then you've got the rivals and South Roosters. Dragons, Raiders, like... I don't know. I mean, Lomax would still be a good pickup in the final round if you had a luxury trade and you wanted someone big to go. Doggies, Cowboys. I mean, there's not many Cowboys. I got the Cowboys I want. Doggies, I've got Kiraz. There's not too many other guys I'm really that keen on. Penrith, Gold Coast. So it's changed now, but yeah, Penrith are a team you could target. Cleary being out does affect it, but I mean, To'o, if he does play, someone like a Luai still, you could go a sneaky play there if you had a trade remaining and you didn't have other fives to put out. Luai, Dylan Edwards, if you wanted a bit of a pod at fullback with a trade up your sleeve, if there's restings. Manly Sharks. I mean, Manly were the team to target last year, but now they take on the Sharkies instead of the Tigers. So, and I've got the big gun Manly boys at the moment, and then Newcastle Dolphins. Obviously, Kalen Pong is the big play there if you could swing it. So there's not that many like absolute slam dunks for the final round. So someone like a To'o could be good if they rest in round 26 potentially. And then I was going to say something else with the trades, because I got 2 trades left. What was I going to say? Maybe it was just going to be... No, because I talked about, if Hines is back, and then To'o. I think that was it. Oh, and I guess the other one is Ponga. If you did, it'd be interesting, because what is the final game again? So who do Manly play? Manly play the Dogs, which, I mean, I think Tommy is, like, Trebojevic is matchup proof. He can score tons against the best defensive sides, in my opinion, comfortably still. But it's tougher than other matchups for sure. And then round 27 they play the Sharkies, but it is at 4 Pines Park. And then Tedesco. I think Tedesco, I mean, obviously they play the Rabbits, and then round 26 they play Canberra, Sunday RV game. I mean, looking at it, Tommy to Ponga would be very tempting. Again, there's probably better upside you could go. Because, again, it's a bit of a sideways trade. For all we know, Tommy scores as many, maybe a few less than Kalen Ponga with the great matchup. But you never know. We'll see what happens. Maybe they rest Trbojevic in the last couple of games. Maybe Tedesco gets a rest in the last couple of games. There's things that could happen for sure. So saving those 2 trades, I think I think it's still very important to do. I don't think bringing in Manu is the way to go. Now let's talk about vice captain captains, because this is a very interesting one for me. So the obvious 2 are both playing fullback. Tom Trbojevic and James Tedesco. Now, it's a bit of a doozy. Obviously, I mean, Manly and Tommy could absolutely go off against this Tigers side. It is at Leichhardt. The Tigers typically have played a lot better at Leichhardt. Now okay, so for me, there's one big question, and that is, like, I'm not going to straight up, I'm not going to straight captain Tom Trbojevic. I just don't like doing it, and for me, there's no real reason to straight captain Trbojevic because of the dummy half and the front row. I'm happy to take a loop on either. All these guys could score like 40 points. The lowest scorer for me, I mean, I don't know. It could be a McLean. He could get like a 20-30. Brayley could get like a 20-30. Finu could go 20-30. Like, I think any one of these guys could be my lowest scorer that I play. Like Brayley, Finu, Curran / Henry. So I can get a free loop. I'm not going to take a straight captain on Tom with that risk, right? If he does happen to get fucking injured or something like that. So the question then is, if I vice captain Tom and he doesn't go massive, who do I captain? So if I look at the matchups, you could captain Tom Young, but I'd be so fucking nervous, dude. Like, it's a great matchup. Dom Young, he's shown he has one of the biggest ceilings in the comp, but the Hemi, like, there's every chance he fucking does it again, bro. Like, they iced it up at the end of last game, so I would hate to be relying on Dom Young as my captain. I would be, it could just absolutely ruin your whole week, whole season gone then and there. Sammy Walker we are bringing in, but again, I don't want to captain Sam Walker if I'm honest. Like, the Roosters could put on 50 and Walker still only scores like 60 points. And then there's no one else that jumps out. I mean, Angus Crichton. Surely Crichton is due for a fucking try, right? Like, he's got to be due for a bit of attack. So I don't hate, like, chucking it on Crichton for a bit of a pod. But I think if I wasn't going to straight captain Tom, I think the better play, actually, is to captain Tedesco and vice captain Garrick. Because again, I feel like Garrick and pretty much like that right hand side with Ola Kawatu and Garrick are due for a big score. I think it's on. I think it's on this week. And yeah, I mean, Garrick has been a little disappointing the last couple of weeks. Tommy has been killing it. But typically if Manly are going to score big, Garrick is usually a pretty big focal point of that. So I just see a big one coming. So I don't necessarily see Tommy going that much more massive over Garrick. I mean, it could. They could shun us and go down the left-hand side a lot more, and we don't see much of Garrick out on that right-hand side. But I don't see it happening. So I really like the Garrick vice captain, and then that allows me to captain Tedesco, which it just feels like it's a juicy. Again, is it as juicy? It probably is, because it's a day game. It's a 2 p.m. Sunday game against the Tigers at Cbus Super Stadium. Like, it's a great track to play footy on. It's a high scoring ground. Like, even if the Titans turn up and play some good footy, it's going to be a high scorer. Like, come on. It's not going to be a fucking grind fest. I think the Tigers have that potential, an 8 o'clock game at Leichhardt, to turn into a bit of a slug. I can see Manly putting on a big score, but I can see the Roosters doing the same. So I think this looks a lot better to me than vice-captaining Tommy and then having to panic about who I captain if Tommy doesn't go huge. So I like this. I think Garrick is every chance as well to go massive. What will they take? I mean, honestly, I mean, I've got like a free loop, but at the same time, I'm very confident of Tedesco going big. So honestly, I'm probably 95 plus, and I would take the loop. I think it's a time of the season you got to go for those big points. 95 plus, I'll take the loop. Anything less, I think you just ride it. I think you just ride it with Tedesco. Hope he continues the form he has been in and goes large. So I think that's what we're looking at. Again, we still have the sit starts are still a little bit. I'm still a little bit undecided. So I'm saying I'm playing Nrl. Yeah, he'll be up against... I mean, they are going at... It's a bit of a tough matchup because they're going at Lomax's side of the field. And I know Lomax cops... I mean, he used to cop criticism in the centres, but he's always been a very good defensive player as well. Like, very strong. I think he does a good job on his side of the field. I don't remember who's inside of him. It's one of the Phenais, I think. So... You could sit Nrl. Would I rather Nrl over McLean? I think I'd rather Nrl over McLean still. I mean, Nrl still is gonna, like, his base is so good. Even if he doesn't get those attacking stats, he's still gonna score like 50 points. McLean has shown if he doesn't get the attacking stats, he can go like 20 to 30. So I think Nrl over McLean is just the smarter play. And then, but then Galvin versus Nrl. Oh, I think I have to double down. I think I have to double down and play Laurie over Galvin again. It's just, I mean, it's going to be funny if Laurie stinks it up again and Galvin goes massive. If it happens, it happens. But I can't see the Tigers going that well, in my opinion. But Galvin is so good. It's the annoying... If I don't play him, it is going to be annoying because I love watching him play. But then I'll see him and he's doing a lot of stuff. And I don't know. He'll be on... I guess the good thing with him, because he switched sides, he won't have to defend Olakau'atu, which is very, very nice. It's very handy for him. He is a pretty good defender, but, I mean, that's tough. That's tough going, having to defend that side of the field against Cherry Evans, Olakau'atu, Garrick. So he'll be on the other side against Brooks, and I think Lorden is back in the second row. Quite a bit easier, I would say. So it should leave him a bit fresher for attack. Fuck, I don't know, dude. I think I'm not going to waver. I'm definitely playing Laurie. I think it's the pod play. I think he is the pod. You play him this time of the season. What's the worst thing that happen? He gets 30, 40 points. Big whoop. Big fucking whoop. It's just a matter of, I think, the back row. I'm playing all the back row, right? Like, you got to. You got to, right? I mean, we're not going to make... Okay, let's not make the same mistake. Okay, so Nikoro's playing late. So let's start... Let's start Eli Katoa. Crichton, Olakau'atu plays early for feeder. Plays at the same time as Crichton. And Firma. Nikoro plays later. Okay, so that works out. So if Nikoro is like a late out, then we can change to, I guess, someone like a Firm or because I think I have to make a decision on Galvin like straight away. He plays the first game of the round, and then the front row. What am I doing with the front row, dude? I don't know. I don't want to play Finu, but if Curran is out... Oh, I don't mind playing Henry this week. I feel like... Do I like playing Henry, though? Because what's the best case scenario? He plays good minutes, he scores well, he gets like 50 points. Very good, but like Finu, if he didn't have that 25 last week, I'd be like, I'll definitely just play Finu. Playing 80 minutes on the edge, you know, generally he's going to score like 40 in base, and he could get some attack. It's just because he got a fucking 25 pointer. that's what's hurt me a little bit. You know what? I think I'm just going to run it like this for now. If Finu has another stinker, he has another stinker, and then if Curran is ruled out, then we just swap Curran for Henry. I think that's just the way to do it, in my opinion. Or if Curran is ruled out and we want to take the loop, then we put Payne Haas into play over Josh Curran. Yeah, I think that's what we do. Yeah. It is tricky, though. I'm definitely playing Marju, I think. It is annoying he had that slight injury last game. I haven't really seen anything on it, but he looked a little lame in that second half. So it does... excuse me. It does make me a little nervous, but that's okay. He does play... Like, McLean... They do play earlier, but... Worst case scenario, we could probably still play McLean over Marju if we wanted to. I still don't hate that idea, because the thing is, with Cleary out, Luai's going to get his hands on the footy a lot more. So, in theory, you would think that McLean should get a little bit more footy as well. But I don't know if that does work in practice, because Luai fucking everyone knows it. He just loves going back to the right hand side. He just fucking, I don't really know. I mean, obviously it's easier said than done, but you sort of watch Penrith play and the defense on the inside, you're just like, fucking please move up further. You know Luai is going to step off his goddamn left foot. Please, on the inside, move up so he's not, like, free to roam. But it never seems to happen, dude. Again, I know it's a lot easier said than done. Like, there's more to it than just move up. But I don't know. It happens so often. Like, they'll go to the left. The defensive structure will move up. On the back of the inside, people will be lazy. He'll cut back. You're just like, oh, who would have guessed he would have fucking stepped off his left foot and swung it back to the right? But I don't know. Does he see more ball? I mean, we 100% play Garrett, Kiraz, Young, and yeah, I do like the Iro play still. Yeah, Iro plays late, so yeah, we'll keep him off the field. Yeah. I think I'm happy with that. I mean, and even not playing Dylan Brown. Fuck, I completely forgot about Dylan Brown. I mean, even Beau Fermor is like a really solid... I mean, I guess coming back from an injury maybe he won't be quite as involved, but I mean, he was fucking banging out 60 points in base easy for the last couple of months. He's been killing it. But Dylan Brown against the Broncos, I actually really like. Oh, no. I wish I could just fuck off my front row. I wish I could fuck off my front row completely and play somebody else. But that's not how Supercoach works. I actually really want to play Dylan Brown against the Broncos, if I'm being honest with you. I think he's also a bit of a pod play. Oh. Dude, I'm torn. I mean, this was the thing about bringing Walker in, is that it does mean I'm less likely to play Brown, who I liked. Again, I don't have to bring in Walker, but I do think Walker is the guy that could go massive this week. So I'm not gonna not bring in Walker. I think he's still the play. Damn, dude. I mean, it's a fucking toss of the coin. Like, I could look at this for the next 5 hours and flip and flop, but it's who knows? Who knows? If Hero scores a try, he's gone big. McLean scores a try, he's gone big. Marju scores a try, he's gone big. If Galvin is looking busy, if Manly don't quite play at their best, Galvin could be in for a few points. Brown could kill it. I mean, if Fermor scores a try, he's going like 80 plus. It's just the way it is. Like, you just got to go with your gut. But I don't know what my gut's telling me. I think I'll leave it like this for now. I'll reassess Thursday. I might do a bit of a pre-lockout video. I might not get time to. So if you got questions, I'll try to answer them in the comments section. But if I get a chance, I might do a little pre-lockout just to talk about if there's any updates, any changes. But we'll leave it like this for now. I'm happy. If our rank was just slightly better, I would be feeling pretty damn good about this season. I gotta be honest, like I feel pretty good where I'm placed with everything that's going on. Like, it's been a diabolical season for me. It has been an absolute diabolical year. There's been some doozies, bro. There's been some doozies. I mean, I can't help but keep remembering the week where we had Dom Young, who got sent off for -15. In that same game, we also had Liam Henry scored negative points. So we had negative score. We captained Garrick when he had 2 head knocks and got like 11 points. We brought in Dane Laurie, got knocked out. There's been a couple other ones too. I mean, Payne Haas we brought in. He does his foot. There's been some rough moments, but I feel like we've done a pretty good job. It's sort of that's sort of the good and bad thing though, right? I feel like we've done a good job to sit where we are, but the bad part is that, man, if things had gone different, I feel like this could have been a pretty good year. Because again, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've looked at like the top ranking teams, and some of the teams in like the topper echelon are like not very good. Like, they're fucking bad. they're like I don't know, it's just, if you just have a good year with like not too many like diabolical injuries, I mean, I don't want to keep harping on it, but the biggest part is like the captain. If you don't get any like absolute stinker captains, you don't even have to get like every best captain option. If you just don't get like any of the dud captains and you get like pretty solid to great captains every week, you're gonna finish really well. And again, I know I keep fucking whinging about it, but I do feel like that is an issue with the game, is that captains really dictate too much of the rankings, but at the end of the day, that's fine. We are just praying that we can get some captain luck in the final couple of weeks. 2 trades left, plenty of cash to play with, so that's the nice thing as well. If we do want to go with a pod, like a To'o in the last week, or a Lomax, bring him in, like we'll be able to trade. We'll be able to get in anybody. Presumably, we'll be able to get in anybody we want, I would expect. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. See if there's a bit of carnage in the next couple of weeks. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping for it. I am hoping for a bit of carnage, because my team has insane depth. It's pretty... I don't know if I've made a mistake. Like, I don't necessarily think I've made a mistake with not having any nuffs. I mean, I guess I do have a 600k nuff in Payne Haas, but like, no genuine nuffs. I think it's been fine. Like, I mean, with the injuries and concussions and stuff, like, I think having this depth has been really good. It's just, it hasn't really worked out because a lot of the injuries has happened like when we bought someone in, so it hasn't really helped us. But I think the depth and the depth building has been really good. We just need it to work out in our favor now with a bit of mass resting and a bit of mass carnage. And with 2 trades left, we could make some moves. Actually, before we go, let's have a quick look. How many points are we on? We are on 27,627. Where the hell are the rankings? Okay, let's just go back to the team. Because how far are we behind literally first place? I think first place is actually Yeah, they got a decent little lead there, Bryce's boys. A tick under 100 points. That's not a shabby lead. Going into the last couple of rounds, it could be interesting. Like I said, I don't think there's going to be massive moves in the last couple of weeks. What did Yeah, I mean, we're a fair way behind first. But what about, like, let's just go to, like, what's top 100 looking like? Yeah, because, I mean, they're, 1,000 points, give or take. Let's try to crank this down to, like, top 1,000. What are we looking at for top 1,000? I don't know. It's probably pretty unlikely to scrape into top 1,000, but it'd be nice. What's this? 500. You know what? What is that? 28,265. So we're like 600. What's it about? 640 points from top 500. It's very unlikely you're gonna make that much ground over a lot of people in 3 weeks, but we're not that far away from that. If we keep moving down, there's probably an easier way to do this, but oh well. We're just doing it the manual. We're doing it the manual way, boys. Okay, let's go down to 1,000. So 20, tick over 28. Yeah, okay. So it's like 450 give or take, from top 1,000. I think it's going to be pretty unlikely, but we can dream. We can dream if we get a bit of carnage. If there's a lot of people up top that are out of trades. You never know. You never know if we can make a little late play. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. Like I said, I might be back for a little pre-lockout discussion. But I think that's what we're looking at. I will have another look tomorrow before the game and just decide if I want to... Because that's the thing as well. I mean, I've got plenty of Manly players playing in this game, so it's not like I need to play Galvin for the for the watchability, because sometimes a game, like, you don't have any players, you're like, oh, I'll play one of my guys to watch it, but Galvin, he's just looking so good. That's the problem. But yeah, make sure you guys like and comment. Make sure to post your questions, and I'll answer them when I get a chance, and I'll see you guys in the next one.